I was in a different stage in my entrepreneurial journey back then. So when you first starting out, yeah, it can be a little tough. Sometimes you got to put in the extra hours, but your goal should always be how can you uh, lessen your workload. Like that's always your goal. How much more can you hand off? How much more can you delegate? I even started last year. I started taking uh, at least a 24-hour sabbatical every week. It sounds like a little nothing, but I mean, it makes a big difference.
I just want to let us know, man, when we can talk and chop it up. Let us know when we recording. Yeah, man. I this is an honor to be able to sit down and talk to the black woman celebrity that doesn't, want to be a celebrity that everybody loves. In this new age of self-care. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. What I'm looking at?
You looking in this
Okay.
direction. Pull the
Okay.
mic a little bit up for her, see if, so we can get it direct straight to
You can look at him too.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just having a close.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we just having a conversation around
Right.
I think there's this stage of growth in technology right now, and I think that it has to do with people.
Yeah.
I remember might have been 2019, and I was interviewing you, and at the end of it, I said, "What's your self-care practice?" And I remember you laughed because you said you're working on that. So can you talk a little bit about that work that you have done from 2019 to now in the self-care, personal transformation, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, as you know, I'm on a sabbatical now, and it's amazing, and I'm thinking about extending it a little bit. I'm enjoying it a little bit too much, but no, it's just um, when you're in the middle of it, in the thick of everything, you just want to work. You just want to work as much as you can, but before you know it, you burned out. So if you don't work, watch out. And so that, to a certain extent, that's pretty much how I live my life. And so, um, you work until you burn out, but that's not how it should be. You should. It's just like a car, like an engine. You don't drive the engine without changing the oil and stopping for rest stops and refilling the gas and getting checkups. And so we should do the same thing as people. And so I know for this time off, it's a couple things that I've done since the last time, very first time we talked. Um, I was in a different stage in my entrepreneurial journey back then. So when you first starting out, yeah, it can be a little tough. Sometimes you got to put in the extra hours, but your goal should always be how can you uh, lessen your workload. Like that's always your goal. How much more can you hand off? How much more can you delegate? I even started last year. I started taking uh, at least a 24-hour sabbatical every week. It sounds like a little nothing, but I mean, it makes a big difference. And what I do, some people could call it a Sabbath on like a Sunday. For me, it just depends. Like I might, since my schedule is so, it varies so much. I might start my 24-hour Sabbath Friday at noon, till Saturday at noon, or I might start it all day Saturday, or Saturday at noon to Sunday at noon. But whatever it is, I take that 24 hours, no meetings, no, necessary calls, none of the things I have to do, only things I really want to do. Sometimes it's with people, sometimes it's by myself. It just all depends. And I make sure I get some time, quiet time to myself during that time though as well. And so prayer, meditation, journaling, adding that to your normal routine, whether that's daily or every other day or whatever. um Also, like I said, started taking a 6 week sabbatical about 3 weeks ago from my day job. First couple weeks, I just kind of chilled, and just kind of went with the flow because I just wanted to decompress. And then I had specific goals of things I wanted to achieve. For me, it's working half days, taking Fridays and the weekends off, and also doing a little bit of traveling. Um, I do a little bit of speaking engagements, and then just really just sitting down and talking to people, brainstorming to myself. Ironically, between what I've set up, between a few consulting things, a few speaking engagements, I've actually made more than my salary during this time I took off. And so it really opened my eyes to what was possible. And like eventually will take the big leap, and showing me how that can be done, how it can be done, in a feasible way that's responsible and still taking care of everything that I have to take care of. So,
Wow. So ultimately, when you say self-care has been a form of innovation personally, it's taught you some things.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've learned so much. Just it's hard to reflect if you don't give time and intentionally have time set aside for that. It's hard to learn from what has happened. If you just on the go all the time, you're never gonna get anything done. So it's kind of like um, when I'm working, if I'm always meeting with people and no action actually gets done, then I'm just meeting. We're wasting our time. Like we're just talking. There's no time set aside to actually get the work done, to actually reflect, to see if that was a good idea or not, um, to really put it into fruition. And so I think it's really, like I said, I've learned so much about myself, and it really makes me want to do more and more of this. It's almost like less work is more,
Mm.
and it took a long time to get to that, but I feel like I'm finally here.
Less work is more. Wow. So that's a graduation. I think that's a graduation. I think that when you graduate and you reach a high level of not just responsibility, but you start to have a higher appreciation and an expectation for yourself because
Yeah.
you appreciate yourself.
Hmm.
And I think that, that comes with maturity, that comes with learning, that comes with growing. Where some of the like incredible places you've been because you've been traveling. What's some of your best places that you've been to lately?
On this particular sabbatical, um, but it did start with a women's retreat in Tulum,
Mm.
Mexico,
Wow.
which was amazing. And it's slightly different than a girls trip, right? So it's like it's not quite as turned, it's more relaxed, but it's intentionally that way. And you get so much time to just reflect. We did yoga every day, sitting on the beach. We had people catered to us, food any time of day. They make whatever you want, and it really just, massages, massage therapy, stretching, reflexology, all these things that I never really had time to sit down and do myself. So I think it was good. I actually do get massages every 2 weeks. That's been amazing to just help
Every 2 weeks.
every 2 weeks. And it's been a game changer. I'm telling you. I think other than that, I really haven't been trying to travel too much because I travel so much for work. So I've been exploring a lot of local places like North Georgia mountains, waterfalls, Chattahoochee Hills. Um,
I just left this. I stayed the night at Sanby.
Serenity. Yep.
Sanby.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
just left there. I just left
Yep.
uh, the inn.
Yep.
Yeah, I just
Yeah. I've been
had
out there.
had breakfast at the inn this morning.
Okay.
I
Okay.
started out having, I did a little tour. I took pictures.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the beginning of reset.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the reset that I was telling you about the self care
Mhm. Mhm.
project that I'm working on. So I'm having you as my first um, person to inspire us and teach us along the way. What are some of the things you learned about yourself in the process of taking better care of yourself? Was it tough? Was it difficult early on? Could you not turn off? Like, I think a lot of times we attempt to turn off, but
Mhm.
there's it's not easy.
Yeah. It's not. It's not. It's definitely not for me. And if I had my way, I would take a whole year. I would take a year and not think twice about it. But certain circumstances, I know everybody's not able to do that. I wasn't at the time, and so I think 6 weeks for me was kind of optimal because I was able to have about a week in the beginning to relax, a week at the end, and then some work time in the middle, but not stressing myself out. I probably would have, like I said, I'm considering extending it. If I were, I would probably do like 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Because I think that's even better. Because they say you need like a month to kind of get out of the work mode, a month to enjoy, and then a month to ramp back up. So I'm trying to squeeze it all into 6 weeks, but we'll see. But I think I learned most about myself is the different times of day that I like to do different types of work. So I found out like in the morning, I'm usually trying to work out, or go walking on a walk or something, or and then after that, my juices are flowing, so I'm ready to do very heavy thinking type work, where it requires me to really brainstorm and come up with new ideas. Writing, I try to have my writer's block, I call it, in the morning after that walk, and it's really helpful. Now I can't do that in the evening because most of the time I'm tired. By the time you know 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I'm ready to wind down. So maybe more so just easier task planning, replying to a couple emails, or you know uh, reading a couple documents I have to sign, just more administrative type work. I also have people to help me. So I realized half the stuff I was doing, I really shouldn't have been the one doing it. I should probably hand that off to somebody else. And so just things like that, just I think were really small changes that go very far in helping you, in your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I think for me, I remember having that place of burnout and creating a sabbatical. And I traveled to Northern California to Napa Valley, spent a lot of
Yeah.
time in Napa Valley. I was in a small place called Benicia,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Benicia was this little town on the water. I had an
Okay.
Airbnb out there, and
Okay.
I think we got to create like spaces
Hmm.
that we can go. And I know a lot of it is where we live. Sometimes everybody's not lucky enough to live in a place that's, I'd say, serene or
Yep.
peaceful. But I do think that you can do a lot of research right in your city and find nice parks. I'm a park lover.
Yep.
I love to go to parks. Um, I like biking.
Hmm.
Talk about some of the things that you do in your day to day. I remember in an interview with you, you talked about it. Plant, you do horticulture, you do your own
Oh
flowering. Like,
yeah.
talk about some of your lifestyles
Yeah.
that gives you peace and joy.
Yeah, I love to garden. And I used to have a dog too. I used to love walking my dog, just playing fetch out in the backyard. I have um vegetables that I grow. So it's you literally get to see the fruits of your labor when you're a gardener. And so I have stuff like okra and uh, sweet potatoes and peppers and greens and kale, and that's all stuff that I eat, regularly. So it's a win-win, and I think being out there with nature, there's studies that show like actually being able to touch, the ground, nature, even putting your feet on the ground, it helps. Like you said, mention parks. I love going to Piedmont Park, different parks in the city, and just people watch. Sometimes I just lay the blanket out there, look at the sky. It's something about being close to the ground. It like rejuvenates me, and just having that moment. And I talked about the massages and the daily walks. I try to take a walk every day, sometimes shorter than I want to, but as long as I'm out there, I love being outside. I like riding my bike. Roller skating. That's my new jam right now.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
um,
Talk a little bit about that.
it's just a group of us. We just said at the beginning of this year, we're gonna start back roller skating. Everybody's posting it on social media, saying we're gonna start back, and so I did, and I'm a better roller skater now than I was when I was a kid. I know how to do all the little backwards transitions and all this, so it's really fun. And you never stop learning, and it's such a good exercise. Like you're gonna get your cardio, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna get that networking in because roller skaters love to network with other roller skaters, talk about skates, what kind of wheels you got, and it's just a wonderful environment to be a part of. So.
Well, I don't want to keep you. I want you to get back to, jet setting and planting tomatoes.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
thank you so much for, constantly evolving and being a person who is a person who leads by example. I think that, for you, I saw, like when I first met you, I saw you have some dreams and you saw some blind spots in what you were doing. And you created the solutions yourself. You started to market and sell yourself and create your own brand. And so many people are proud of you. They watch you and they admire you. What are some of the things that you would say to, someone who wants to evolve the way you evolve? What would you say to them? Close.
Oh man, it's to be honest, really no set path to follow. You really got to find your own way. Everybody's path is different. Um, there's some general things, give it your all, uh, make sure you, get your self care, make sure you're clear on what your goals are, what you want, in your heart, what is it that you really want to achieve, and don't try to stray away from that. Um, and then you just go with the flow, and just let, for me, very spiritual and, prayer and meditation and trying to get that guidance and clarity. The quiet time helps. And so, yeah, just, do the fundamental things and then the rest will follow. So.
Great. Tell me a little bit about this person on the shirt. I see Mississippi on here.
Yeah, this is uh Miss Fannie Lou Hamer. This is my fearless leader. Um, from Mississippi, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, and doing a lot of projects there. So this woman, if you don't know about her, look her up. This was a bad woman right here. So yeah.
So this is our this is our version of her right here in our industry. This is our version of her. Well, thank you, Dr. Nashlie. Everybody who understands that growth is important. It's as important as work, but it's a journey, and it's something that we, as a group of people, we're yearning for. We're yearning for wellness. We're yearning for healing, and it's something that is a part of our legacy. Because it doesn't matter how much wealth you have. If health is a new wealth, because you can have everything in the world. As Steve Jobs talked about on his deathbed, he would have spent more time with family. He would have did a lot of things different on his deathbed. And so, I just think that health is the real wealth, and self-care is just the way that we define ourselves a lot of times, and just taking these steps daily. There's no blueprint to it. It's all something that we do personally. So thank you for giving me a little bit of time. You always answer my calls. I know, I'll be calling. I'll be like, yo, let's get some time. So I just want to thank you for that. And just continue to just be yourself. I think that's your key to success, is that your authentic self. That's you. That's who you show up as. And I appreciate you just jumping on. I knocked on her door. She working. I'm like, yo, Nash, come holler at me for a minute. She don't even know she finna get on camera.
I had to do a few things to myself first, but yeah, it's all
Thank
good.
you for that. Salute.
Thank y'all.
We're at KidLabs, man, as usual, man. I come in town. This is the number one spot for technology. It's the number one spot for creators, innovators, builders, achievers. And I'm honored to, have this relationship with KidLabs, and I'm always checking in right here. We build it.